Hello, class. My name is Dr. Terry Bell, and on behalf of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, I want to welcome you to the Senior Seminar, Psychology 4823. So this is week one of what is probably your final class at Oakwood, at least your final course in this subject matter. And I truly hope you have as much fun taking it as I had writing it. Your senior seminar at this university. That's impressive. That means you've already gone through a whole lot of work putting your degree plan together. Some people call this a capstone class. The word capstone class is used more in countries that have had more British influence. In America, these courses are generally called a senior seminar. But either way, a senior seminar or a capstone course, that simply means that this is the course that brings all of your studies in your major together. A capstone is that block of stone that keeps everything in place and holds everything together. So let's take a look at your student learning objectives for week one. It's always important whenever you start a new week to look at the learning objectives for that week. So at the conclusion of this first week, it is our hope for you that you will be able to distinguish the 5 views concerning possible sources of psychological knowledge. Where does this psychological knowledge come from? And according to our text, it's empirical research, scripture and theology, philosophy, personal experience, and history. The second learning objective is to help you appreciate the acquisition of knowledge about human beings as it applies to the renovation of human beings and the cultivation of godliness and moral character and love. Look at that phrase, renovation of human beings. That's the phrase that your text uses to talk about repairing something that's broken, fixing something that needs to be fixed, making something that's old and worn new again. And so the third learning objective is for you to understand the levels of explanation view. You're going to be reading about 5 different views of Christian counseling during this course. And the first view you're going to be reading about is called levels of explanation. And the thought here is that psychology and Christian theology are actually 2 separate disciplines that provide complementary perspectives on human experience. And the final student learning objective is for you to be able to articulate the 5 different views provided in this textbook and during the 5 weeks of this course. So let's get started. Let's think about your reading and your assignments for this week. First of all, of course, always the first thing you do is to read your syllabus. Read it carefully, read it closely, because it has the details of how this course is supposed to work. Secondly, read your student learning objectives that we've just now talked about. Third, watch the overview text of the video. Now, I can't overemphasize how important this is. Your textbook is rather complex. It's meant to be that way. This is your senior capstone class. So watch the video that I've put together that helps you to understand the format of your textbook. Fourth, read chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. Chapter 1 deals with the history of Christian psychology. Chapter 2 deals with the first of the 5 views that we're going to be looking at. That view is called the level of explanation view. Fifth, watch the video that I have here called Christianity and Psychology. It's an important video, and I want you to know while you're watching it that it's actually put together by the editor of this textbook. And then finally, I want you to watch the 5 top critical thinking skills video. That's going to be very important as you work on your last assignment for this class. By now, you should be very much accustomed to discussion questions. Discussion questions are very important. Take them seriously. They have a minimum word count. They're to be professionally written. This is not Facebook. They are to have substantial content and substance, and you have to have a minimum number of replies to your classmates. This week's writing assignment. Be sure to read carefully the instructions in Brightspace for this assignment. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is outlining Chapter 2 with the major section heads that are provided for you in the book. You're going to present those major headings in the textbook, and then under those section heads, it's your job to summarize that section in your own words. I know that may sound a little complicated. Because of that, I provided for you a sample from Chapter 1. You do not have to outline Chapter 1. This week's writing assignment deals with Chapter 2 only. And I want you to know you do not have to outline and summarize the opposition views. In each one of these chapters, you're going to have one of the 5 views presented. And then the second half of that chapter, the other 4 views are going to critique that view and say why they think it's wrong or what good there is in it. So what you only need to do is the part of the chapter that deals with the particular view. This week, the level of explanation view. And then the last assignment is simply a critical thinking question. Needs to be a minimum of 250 words. And you can write there what you've read, what you've thought about, what you've studied, what you've viewed in this week's lesson that connects you to other things that you've learned in other psychology classes that you've taken, either at this school or somewhere else. Just remember, this should be a well-written professional paper with an appropriate APA title page, minimum 250 words. You do not have to provide an abstract. Before you write this, be sure to watch the video that I provided for you, the 5 top critical thinking skills video. That will help you, I think, in the preparation of this assignment. So let's have a great week. Again, welcome to your senior seminar. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. My contact information is both in the syllabus and in my biography that's in your course information tab.